Welcome everybody, this is Acorn is back. I am making a World War II video. The first 10 minutes of this video is going to be the first game that I ever played on World War II, and then everything else is going to be like just really nice clips. There's one 5-minute like area of just a awesome comeback and domination. But this is my first game, and I don't think I did all that great, but you'll actually see how I've improved throughout the time of playing the beta with some of these clips. This video is mainly for feedback purposes, and there's also going to be like a little teeny tiny channel update that I'm going to try to get to. I might not be able to get to it, I hope so, with 21 minutes being available for this. So, I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff that I'd like to talk about for this video, and we're going to start here with hit registration in the game. I'm not going to try to complain about everything that everybody else is already complaining about, because it's just not constructive at all. Like, what does my voice mean whenever everybody is already saying that stuff? But the hit registration is probably the only thing that I'm really going to complain about that everybody else is complaining about, because it's not the greatest. There's a lot of points, and you'll see it a couple times in this video, and it actually brings up another point that I wanted to make, was hit weapon consistency. But you'll see a couple of parts in this video where I put like 5 to like 10 bullets into somebody, where like, okay, this grease gun, normally it's like a 3-shot to kill, and then you'll see part in the video where I get a kill that's like 3 shots, and then same range later on in the video it'll be like 5 shots to kill the guy, or just something ridiculous. But that's really all I want to say about hit registration. Next thing I want to talk about, and you'll also see a little bit of clips of what I'm talking about here, is a shotgun buff, like maybe a little bit tighter hip fire spread or whatnot. I know that you get a tighter hip fire spread, or not hip fire spread, but a tighter spread whenever you aim down sight. And that's great and all, and I also know there's like steady aim in the game or whatever to also tighten your hip fire spread, but like I get a lot of close range hit markers in this game with shotguns. I mainly play on point to hawk with a shotty, and it's a little ridiculous. Everything. The incendiary rounds, I think they're fine. I mean, I'm not really a shotgun player, but the way that I think that they work in this game is that it's per pellet damage, and per pellet has a special amount of fire damage that happens to you. And I don't really see it to be that big of an issue. The next thing I want to talk about is I would like for there to be a little bit of a sniper nerf, specifically on the 4x scope for the Commonwealth. That thing just seems to be a monster for quick scoping, and I'm not trying to say quick scoping is like stupid or whatever, because you'll actually see me do like somewhat quick scoping in the video, and it was a lot of fun. But it's a little bit annoying. I know those scopes are meant for more like close range engagements and whatnot, but it does make it easier, so to kind of balance it out, I think that the 4x scope should be nerfed a little bit for snipers. I'm not saying remove it or anything like that, because I know a lot of people like it, and I would never ask for something like that. That's pretty much it for that topic. Next thing, or a couple things that I want to talk about, is better AR damages and an STG buff. Now, the STG is really good in this game, but a lot of people say this game is assault rifle, or a submachine gun dominant game, excuse me. And I mean, I see what people mean by that and whatnot. But like the STG, I think it does have a 3-shot kill range, but I don't really know how close you have to be for that to actually be a thing. The times that I used the STG in this game, it didn't really seem like it was all that amazing. I got some really cool clips with it, but at the end of the day, I still think that it needs like a little bit of a buff for that 3-shot kill range. But I think this needs to be a thing on all of the assault rifles, actually. I liked the M1941, I believe is what it was called, the very first assault rifle. I actually loved that thing. It was a lot of fun to use and everything, and it would shred at long ranges and all that stuff. And it wasn't too bad actually at close range. That one I don't mind how it is. but the STG has a little bit of a slower fire rate and whatnot, and I think that it does need a little bit of a buff whenever it comes to a 3-shot kill range. Next on the list is infantry ADS movement buff. I would love for that to be a thing. One of the things that I loved about the older Call of Duty is that they've kind of stopped doing ever since, I want to say, Black Ops 3 was the first game to do it, is they pretty much ruined stock, you know, the stock or stalker or whatever you really want to call it. But of course in the infantry division, there is the ability to ADS and move faster while ADSing. And I think that that needs a little bit of a buff because I feel like it's still a little bit too slow. And actually, with that being said, I want to also talk about it working on LMGs. I would love for that to work on LMGs. I use a lot of the guns in this game. I only missed out on the M1A1, the last LMG, the Carabin sniper rifle, and I believe that's the only things that I didn't actually use. But the LMGs that I did use, they need a little bit of a buff, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I think the Thompson's recoil pattern isn't really that easy to deal with, which, I mean, of course is kind of a good thing, but in an arcade shooter like Call of Duty, where you just kind of run around, messing around, shooting, whatever, I feel like the recoil on it's a little bit too high for this game, you know, this type of game. I would like to see a recoil pattern like buff where it's not, or nerf. I actually don't know what you'd consider that, but I just wish that it didn't kick as hard as it does. Now I did think about it a lot, and I wasn't using a grip most of the time of me using the Thompson. I mean, in the clips that I have in this video here, I do have a grip on it because I didn't have extended mags unlocked yet. But ever since I put on Quick Draw Extended, it just was not, like, it was not good. I mean, I could not stand playing with that thing, which sucks though, because I feel like it needs a, like it actually needs extended mags, because I also think the damage isn't all that great on it either, actually. There's a couple of things. Next on the list would be dual basic trainings. Alright, I'm not saying let me have every single basic training in the game at the same time, but there's a couple that I would really like to mix here. Specifically the two that I used the most in the beta, which was Forage and Ordnance, which Forage is pretty much Scavenger and Ordnance is like Hardline, pretty much. And I was a really big fan of Hardline from the other Call of Duty games. It just, I don't know, it was just kind of nice to have. I mean, getting them streaks faster is always a fun thing and nice, because that's like the main thing about Call of Duty. I don't know if this was just a problem in the beta or not, but whenever I was trying to use pistols, they wouldn't allow me to put attachments on it. I had to use a basic training to put an attachment on my pistol, which I don't think is a very effective game plan. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if that's just for the beta or if it was a bug or something, but if it's not a bug, I'd really like for that to be fixed. You know, if I'm gonna have a secondary, I'd like to at least put something on my secondary, make it a little bit more viable and everything. It'd be great. I think I already mentioned weapon consistency. Yeah, I did. But still, that's a really big thing, is weapon consistency. It needs to be better. We need to, I guess, have a better understanding of what our damage drop-offs are and all that stuff and whatnot and how everything works. But either way, I already pretty much talked about that. This one's something that quite a few people are talking about, I'd say. But friendly shell shock, I would like for that to be removed. If you don't want to remove it, then like at least for like the score streaks, that would be really nice. Like if someone calls in artillery on me and they're on my team, it shouldn't take me 10 minutes to get out of it, you know. Like I think that stuff is a little bit ridiculous. I don't like the shell shock stuff. It's fine whenever it's enemy stuff and whatnot, but if it's friendly, I would like for it to be removed completely. But if you're not going to do that, at least make it to where it's not happening if I'm underneath their score streaks or something of that nature. There's a new feature, Play the Game, that a lot of us really like. I'd say I really like it. I think it was a nice change. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of times where in the older Call of Duties I'd just light up my kill feed and I'd want my friends to see it and I couldn't record, and you know what ends up happening is we get to see a nice little quick scope or something for final kill, and it's like one kill. It's really disappointing, but like right here, just play the game. I love it. But the thing that I would like changed on it is I would like to have a better understanding of how it works, which it could easily be simplified by this little tweet or something, you know, on Twitter. But like I think at least what it is it's whoever gets the most points in a small amount of time or whatever. But then again, there's times where like I'd be capping a flag, I'd have a bouncing Betty behind me, and the bouncing Betty would jump up, kill like 2 people, and then next thing I know, like I get like another 2 kills while I'm on the flag, and it's like a quad feed, like a solid quad feed or something. And then like I watch the next I watch the play of the game, and it's like a 2-piece with a sniper or something. I also noticed that it seems like if you get like one-shot, 1 kills, you know, whether it's snipers or shotguns, you have a better chance of getting play the game. I don't know. I would like to know how it works though, because like I said, I could have sworn that it was just whoever got the most points. There's also been a lot of times where I would get triple kills and then somebody would get like a double kill, and it just doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? Or if it's like time-based. I was kind of wondering that too. But either way, that is something that I would really like to understand a little bit better. What's next here? Airborne rework. Okay, this is something a lot of people are talking about too, I'd say, actually. So there's a little bit more of me complaining about what everybody else is complaining about too. But I'm not trying to do that. But I think that the main thing that you get, of course, it's a suppressor right now. I think that it needs to either be reworked to where you get infinite sprint, no fall damage. I understand that's the basic training in the game, but that's kind of something that should have already been with Airborne, in my mind, at least. Basic training should just be something that helps you out a little bit, not something that, you know, is pretty much an extended, like, class perk or something, you know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things that I like about the divisions, is that they're pretty much unique to that class. But like, if I wanted to run Mountain and run this specific basic training, it's almost as if I have Airborne and Mountain, with the exception of, you know, the suppressor deal. So either that should be a rework for it, or, which is a little odd because you guys wouldn't do this with anything else in the game that I know of, but maybe like you get, if you use like an STG, for example, on that class, you get the suppressor, or if you use a sniper rifle on that class, you get the suppressor or whatever. Like any gun, like it's universal, all guns or whatever on that class. But then that also kind of makes it to where, you know, people will just be using that class on like all their weapons, just to have a suppressor and whatnot. So either I would recommend you do that, or I'd recommend that you take the suppressor and just make it an attachment and do the rework like I said originally, where it's like the infinite sprint or whatnot. Alright, this one I don't really think too many people will actually agree with me on this, but I feel like the paratroopers need a little bit of a nerf. You know, like, it only happened like one time, but I got drop shotted by a paratrooper. It's bad enough dealing with the drop shotting kids in this game alone, but then that, you know, getting drop shotted by a freaking score streak, that's a little ridiculous. It's like, it's almost as if like having a score streak that only pinpoints me constantly to where the entire team knows where I'm at the entire game or something, you know what I mean? Like, literally just goes to a nameless ghoul. I mean, like, that's literally a score streak. That's kind of, it's kind of like my mentality on it, is it's kind of dumb and kind of unfair in a way, because it is AI, let alone, you know, so it's already got, it really should have perfect aim. So, But that was the only thing that I really had a problem with the paratroopers. I think they help you cap flags, which is really nice. I like that. You know, they throw grenades, I believe, too, and I don't mind that either. You know what I mean? That's cool. Just getting drop shotted, and I didn't get jump shotted by one, but if they do jump shot, please, no. Take that AI out. Alright, this one was personally a big disappointment to me. Okay, I feel like the dolphin dive kind of sucks in this game, but only for one reason and one reason only. And it's the simple fact that I can't dolphin dive through a window. I loved playing Black Ops 1 and dolphin diving through glass windows and stuff like that, and then laying out on the other side with like akimbo pistols and like gunning someone down. It was so tight. It was just like, I don't know. It just made you feel like a badass, kind of. But in this game, the one place that I noticed this the most at was on Point to Hawk, and whenever you spawn in like that house that's next to the barn, and you spawn facing the barn, and you go to try to jump out that window, I always tried to dolphin dive out that window every time I'd get that spawn, and it just did not work, not a single time. And that was very disappointing for me. I had some people tell me that you can dolphin dive through windows, but anyway, it didn't work for me. Anyways, I need to hurry this up a little bit because the video is kind of coming to an end. I would like recon plane pings whenever you pull out any of the score streaks that have a map on them. It might seem a little unfair, I don't know. I know how they use the lightning strike in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 like that for competitive, and it was kind of unfair or whatever. But I would like that. So like I know, oh hey, yeah, there's guys that are going to B, I'm gonna place this strike on B. The only time you get those artillery pings, or the recon plane pings, is whenever you actually have one up. So I would not mind that, if that could be a thing. I think the 1911 needs a rework. That is, like in my opinion at least, that is the most important pistol of the World War II era. I think that, you know, the recoil on it's a little odd, which is kind of, like, you can deal with that. The fire cap on it is kind of annoying, you know, and the damage should definitely be a 2-shot. I think it was, but I'm not sure 100%. Let's see here. Theater mode. Please, Sledgehammer, if you just happen to see this video, like, I'm tweeting it to you and everything, please put in theater mode. Please. That would be amazing of you. Ardennes Forest, spawn flip, and domination. If you are spawning on, I believe, the A side, whatever side the bridge side is, if the enemies go past that truck on the left side, or they go on or past the A flag on the right side, the spawns need to flip. I was spawn trapped several times, and even though I can normally get out of spawn traps, not everybody on my team is going to be able to, which is not good enough to actually make a comeback or to actually break a trap. So please rework your spawns on that map. It's one of the only times that I actually had spawn problems, except for actually in this clip right here. I believe, let's see here. Team deathmatch spawns need rework too. Yeah, like I literally watched the kill cam too, and he watched me spawn. But team deathmatch spawns, I believe, also need a little bit of a rework. Map rotation. I don't know if this was just in the beta or not, but for like the last 7 hours of the beta or so, it's something like every single game mode had a dedicated map. Like I played Gibraltar, I think is how you say it. I played that map like 20 times in a row because I was playing Dom. We switched to Team Deathmatch, and we played Point to Hawk 20 times in a row. We switched to Hardpoint, we played Ardennes Forest 20 million times in a row. You know, like it just, that stuff kept happening. I think the LMGs need a ADS buff. I just, you know what I mean? They need to be a little bit more viable and everything. I'm not saying that they need to just be completely rush-heavy weapons or anything like that, but I do think that they need slight buffs on, you know, for that aspect and whatever. Make them a little bit better. Nobody ever uses them. And if you need to make a nerf to it to balance out, maybe give them a little bit more recoil for that ADS speed. You know what I mean? Like, that would be awesome. The Thompson, it needs ADS speed. Like, that thing is so slow. I swear to God, I feel like I'm using a LMG whenever I try to aim down sight with that thing without a quick draw. Type 100, I think that thing needs a buff. It just, I don't feel like it does enough damage at close range. I don't know why, but it just needs a little bit of a fix, I believe. LMG ADS movement speed with infantry. I think I've already talked about that actually, so we'll skip over that one. Rapid fire buff, 7% isn't really noticeable on most weapons. You can leave it alone on the WAF. That's probably the only gun that I would say leave the 7% on. You should be more like the older Call of Duties where different guns get different rapid fire buffs and all that stuff. That'd be nice. 30 gun streak, bomb or something, just a kill streak that either ends the game or absolutely kills the entire enemy team. I would love to see something like that here in this game, especially since you guys at Sledgehammer just give us like a nuke or something. Like, let us Hiroshima the map. Like, that'd be amazing. No offense, I guess. And the last two things I have here is FOV slider. Please add that into the game, and then future map designs. I am constantly getting flanked on these maps, and yes, I should have more situational awareness, especially after playing Call of Duty for so many years. But like, there's just so many places that people can come from behind me at, and that's not even with me camping. So please, let's fix that. Okay, for like a really fast channel update, this year I'm hoping to be a way better year on YouTube. I'm going to get an HD PVR and a computer to hopefully make a lot better quality videos for Rainbow Six and this game. I love this game in the beta. This is fantastic so far. Rainbow Six, of course, is my favorite. Keep up the good work, Sledgehammer. Please don't nerf the grease gun. I love that thing. And this clip is sick. This has been Acorn. You guys all have a good day.